Good evening, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and other. Welcome to our third episode of The Innovators. How we made it into 3 episodes, we don't know. We've been getting mixed reviews, but we're gonna keep going. So, I want to start this episode by discussing books. The first one, I've had my eyes. It's a very interesting book. It's called 21 Lessons from the 21st Century. Have any of you guys read that book?
No.
No. Did you
It's
read
by
it?
an Israeli writer, Yuval Harari. I've read parts. I haven't had time to read the whole thing. So, the first question he asks, how do you prepare your children for the year 250? Or even the year 2100? It's a great question, especially because nowadays no one knows what the world will even look like. Historically, humans can make at least decent assumptions about where the world was headed, but in today's fast-paced technology-fused civilization, forget it. So, here are three from his 21 lessons, Yuval Noah Harari, to help us and future generations thrive in the 21st century. These are 3 tips. Whoever owns the data wins, which is why everyone struggles for it. We don't know, we just think we do, and that's a problem. Education must show us how to navigate information, not give us more of it. What do you guys think of that passage?
I mean,
Wait. Were the 3 in there?
Yeah,
You
so,
said, wait.
okay, whoever owns big data
wins.
wins.
Okay, yeah.
We don't know, we just think we do, and that's a problem. Education must show us how to navigate information, not give us more of it.
Okay.
So, who wants to start?
So I just want to
Okay.
say that, like, personally, I think that this is more like depends on what type of parent you want to be. Like, my parents are not strict, but they did have like goals in mind for me to follow. And like personally for me, I just want my kids to be happy. So like honestly, I'm just gonna let them fucking figure it out, dude. Because I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. How am I gonna prepare them if I don't even know? So really, it's just like making them good people and then let them do whatever they want.
My opinion, this advice is kind of trite, if you ask me. About like if you own big data, then you're on top. That's what she said, right?
He said, yes.
Or he said?
Well,
So like that just means like as long as you're like a CEO and you own all this information or all this data for a company, then obviously you're gonna be rich, right?
yeah, a lot of a critique of the book that I read was it's trite, like we know.
I think it's trite. I'm not gonna read it. I'm not interested.
well, let's read more of it, then we'll judge.
In fact, this podcast is over. I'm done.
Go ahead. Who felt that silliness?
Well, actually, I want to say like that is like you're setting up your kids for failure almost.
How?
Not everybody's gonna be a fucking CEO. We talked about this last time, but like nobody's gonna have all the data.
Yeah. But anyway.
I mean, okay, so like for the data one, I mean, I actually I agree in the sense that I mean it's important to have the right data, and because when you have the right data, then that data can like really influence your actions. I mean, like with the presidential election, you know, they got all the right data they wanted, and you know, there's a manipulation going on allegedly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, with the data thing, it kind of does make sense, I think, because like numbers do say like basically everything. I mean, you know, I mean, you could like for a sports player, you could be playing totally different games, 20 games in a row, like one bad, one good, one bad, one good. But once you go out and look at it from like a career span, not from just a 20 game standpoint, but from like a 200 game standpoint, then you're going to see like an average for all this stuff. So I mean, like data like that, I think, yeah, I mean, I think especially showing how people's like interests, likes, wants, how you can affect them. I mean, there was this one thing on Elon Musk and Joe Rogan's thing where Elon Musk was like, we're basically creating the AI ourselves by doing Google searches. So the AI is learning what fear is because, you know, people are searching certain fears and certain common fears emerge. And then, you know, if an AI is looking over that search results and something, he might say, oh, you know, a lot of people are looking up at spider fears. So then if I'm going to be like, if I'm going to be afraid of something, I should be afraid of spiders. So that kind of data, I think, showing that can affect people's emotions and thoughts and actions. I think that's the data that would be pretty important.
that actually leads us seamlessly to the next
What
discussion.
were the other two? I forgot again.
Oh yeah, let me go back.
Education. Oh, education. Yeah.
Education should.
Not more information, but how to navigate between
Yeah.
information
And must show us. Yeah, that's basically it. We don't know. We just think we do, and that's a problem.
I mean, yeah, I think the book, like, both of them combine in the sense that, like, it's important to realize and say, okay, I don't know what's going on.
Mm.
You know, I mean, obviously, it's important to, like, once you realize you don't know something, that not to give up and kind of learn what it is. But at one point, you know, if it's something really important, you might say, look, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I should either, you know, find someone, and I'm talking about like businesses or something, find someone who knows what he's talking about. Or if on a more education level, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm writing about. Let me go and really research about this. So yeah, like that recognition of not, you know, saying, okay, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm totally off the rails. My knowledge on this is completely wrong. And understanding that, I think, is a virtue, because a lot of people think that they know everything.
Yeah.
And when, yeah.
No,
That's kind of it.
Yeah. The So this leads us. What you said leads us perfectly into the next discussion, which it's an article from the Atlantic, written by Yuval Harari, the same author as the book. It's called "How Technology Favors Tyranny." So he says, information technology is continuing to leap forward. Biotechnology beginning to provide a window into our inner lives, our emotions, thoughts, and choices. Together, infotech and biotech will create unprecedented upheavals in human society, eroding human agency and possibly subverting human desires. Under such conditions, liberal democracy and free market economies might become obsolete. In the 20th century, the masses revolted against the exploitation sought to translate their vital economy into political power. Now the masses fear irrelevance, and they are frenetic to use their remaining political power before it's too late. Brexit and the rise of Donald Trump may therefore demonstrate a trajectory opposite that of the traditional socialist revolutions. The Russian, Chinese, and Cuban revolutions were made by people who were vital to the economy but lacked political power. In 2016, Trump and Brexit were supported by many people who still enjoyed political power but feared they were losing their economic worth. Perhaps in the 20th century, populist revolts will be staged not against an economic elite that exploits people, but against an economical elite that does not need them anymore. This may well be a losing battle. It is much harder to struggle against irrelevance than exploitation. What do you think about those two passages?
Wait, what does that even have to do with technology?
So they're saying,
saying that technology will come to a point where humans will be
useless
and irrelevant.
Yeah, so
humans dealing with that irrelevance.
It's gonna be worse than the socialist revolutions when they would overthrow the capitalist class for exploit. So what do you think? Is that a fair parallel, or you think being useless is?
I mean, we are probably gonna become. No, I mean not we are, but like we are gonna become useless. I guess. I just like, at that point, I don't know. Actually, to be honest, I just agree with what he said.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean by useless?
Like there's gonna be a useless
Like
class of people with robots. Again, we're gonna get into that whole discussion.
It's just
in
like
terms of like
AI
the job
does-
market and whatnot?
What?
In terms of like the job market?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the AI does everything.
I mean, yeah, your skills will never come to a point where a
You're
robot-
better than the robot.
You're better than the robot. So, in certain cases, like probably like more.
I mean, if you
labor
think,
work,
what can you
yes.
think about that humans will always be better than robots?
Probably like day-to-day
Like
interactions.
creating robots.
Almost everything.
Thinking, dude.
No,
Well,
but
I
eventually,
don't think
Driving-
robots can create robots.
yeah, eventually robots will create
In the
themselves.
sense, I'm saying creating robots, and the fact that coming up with the idea of, well, you know, we need robots and that kind of shit. You know, do you think? I don't think a robot would have done what Steve Jobs or some other, other people.
But they would. I mean, they're AI. Like they have the capacity for more information than we do.
Well, I feel like the whole AI thing is such like a hypothetical concept.
So you
And then
think,
they're free
You think it's like it's too far out and we're overthinking it?
I feel like it's too far out, and there's really no guarantee that we'll reach a time period.
I mean,
I see it every day.
we
like-
definitely haven't reached or gotten close to any like true AI.
But in terms of like you said, Miguel, about like jobs that won't be affected by AI, probably like nurses, anything in the healthcare industry.
Anything human related.
Yeah.
I think surgeons would be out of jobs.
Yeah, I'd rather an AI surgeon that knows what they're doing.
I mean,
Or pilot.
But why would you? I mean, what if they malfunction?
Yeah, then you're fucked.
Yeah, and each person has like a different like body weight, size, and whatnot. So I was
I'm
like
sure
a robot
that-
to kind
okay,
of
I'm
I'm sure that they'd find a way for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
The way it's gonna look too is different. It's not like I feel like it's not even gonna be like. Have you guys seen iRobot, like with Will Smith?
I don't remember. But
Yeah, I don't really.
It's not okay.
yeah,
So so the robot. You remember what the robots look like in that?
Mm-hmm.
Or like the one with the most recent one with AI Ex Machina. Have you seen that one? So that's like a physical being, right?
Mhm.
But like I feel like our AI will not be like that. It will be more like let's say if there's AI piloting the plane, it's not going to be a physical thing. It's just going to be a computer system.
Mm.
So it's gonna be like an operating system. built
See,
inside
yeah,
the
but
plane.
more like a Wally.
But GPSs are already flying planes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's fucking Tesla
Mm. Robots
Yeah.
driving itself. So
Yeah.
I think if we get to a point where like you say like surgeons and whatnot, like anything in the healthcare industry gets replaced by AI, because healthcare is the most like in demand job market. So if we get to that point, I think we're all screwed in terms of jobs. And we might have to get a UBI anyways.
Oh, let's not start. No, okay.
Jesus.
Okay, so let's continue. The same technologies that might have made billions of people economically irrelevant might also make them easier to monitor and control. All of this leads to one very important conclusion. The automation revolution will not consist of a single watershed event, after which the job market will settle into some new equilibrium. Rather, it will be a cascade of even bigger disruptions. Old jobs will disappear and new jobs will emerge, but these new jobs will also rapidly change and vanish. People will need to retain and reinvent themselves not just once, but many times. Keep that in mind while we talk about the rise of digital dictatorships. Consider surveillance. Numerous countries around the world, including several democracies, are busy building unprecedented systems of surveillance. For example, Israel is a leader in the field of surveillance technology and has created in the occupied West Bank a working prototype for a total surveillance regime. Already today, whenever Palestinians make a phone call, post something on Facebook, or travel from one city to another, they are likely to be monitored by Israeli microphones, cameras, drones, or spy software. Algorithms analyze the gathered data, helping the Israeli security forces pinpoint and neutralize what they consider to be potential threats. The Palestinians may administer some towns and villages in the West Bank, but the Israelis command the sky, the airwaves, the cyberspace. It's interesting he says this because he's Israeli himself. It therefore takes surprisingly few Israeli soldiers to effectively control the roughly 2.5 million Palestinians who live in the West Bank. What do you guys think? Cybersecurity.
it's pretty crazy, dude.
It really
I
is.
mean, like I have a really close. We have a really close family friend that deals with data, and this guy's a nut, and like he basically
What?
seriously, he's a nut.
He's crazy.
He's a nut.
Like you.
But he's a teacher at Oxford, actually.
Yeah.
He's pretty smart. And what he
I'm not.
so what he does is he uses Twitter's data because it's open to everyone. You can access Twitter's data as you want. And from Twitter's data, what he does is he like finds out like he does like certain terms. He searches certain terms and just looks at like where that term's been searched most in the world, like under what time, how it's increased, this and that. And then besides that, like he looks at terrorist activity going on like in the Middle East, and he looks at like pictures posted by certain people like on watch lists and stuff, and from like certain images behind the pictures, for instance like a selfie or something, they can pinpoint certain locations, certain trends where people are going, this and that, just from like photos, tweets, likes, this or that. Totally legal data that could be used. And like so that kind of like, so I mean,
That begs the question: what if it gets into the wrong hands?
yeah, I mean,
Which,
it's
yeah.
open to everyone, so like it's probably in the wrong hands already.
Yeah, the next passage will discuss.
But like
North
what you
Korea.
can do with data, I think, is pretty crazy. I mean, and what you can do with technology. I mean,
Yeah, it's scary. It could be good. It could be bad, right?
I mean, they can come through your door like in an
Yeah.
hour, just from your like IP address or something.
Yeah.
Just
Don't you-
minutes? I mean,
Don't you
if
see?
search
Yeah,
the wrong thing, dude.
that's scary. Don't you see students put the tape on their camera? Like, what do you guys have to hide? You know, the government watches.
Yeah.
You watch pornography. You know?
I don't really care. I mean, I use my phone.
I'm sure they have other shit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like all his problems. Cybersecurity is one of the most like bleeding job industries right now. I think it's definitely prevalent and whatnot. And everything you post online can always be used against you and whatnot.
Yeah, that's why I'm not that worried about it. It's like you know what you're getting into somehow.
Yeah.
But dude, like,
But there are some things that are private that people aren't supposed to know that could get into the wrong hands.
but like if we take a step back and not look at it from personally, but like companies, like everyone's trying to steal everyone's shit.
Yeah,
Like,
as simple as that.
Like a couple of weeks ago, there was like this sort of news saying that because like the chips of Apple's are produced in China, and like apparently China might have put in like this extreme microchip inside of every single SIM card to collect information on both the user and the machines, that sort of deal. And then Apple had to say state a release saying we don't know anything about this, on the machine of that and that. Everyone's trying to steal everyone's shit, dude. Everyone's trying to steal everyone's ideas. Everyone's, So that's why, coming to your point, that's why cybersecurity is probably like a huge thing in demand, because instead of people fighting wars with guns and shit, not even words, people are now fighting it with like, hackers, this and that. Because all the information that matters is in the machines, it's in the cloud,
I mean, I don't mind that as long as it's reasonable.
You guys remember back in I think 2015 or 2016? I think it was in Florida. This couple shot up an elderly home. So the FBI found one of the husband's iPhone, and they took it to Tim Cook and said, "Can you?"
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, "Can you make like a software so we can unlock the phone?" And Tim Cook said, "No, because if we make that software for this phone, then anyone can use it for any phone."
I remember because there was like when we went to the Apple's page, there was a statement on the home page, saying that this and this and this, and that as Apple we can't do that.
They're really long agreements that you don't even know what you're signing up for most of the time.
Yeah, but you can't do shit unless you agree with them. So.
Yeah. Imagine, for instance, that the current regime in North Korea gained a more advanced version of this sort of technology in the future. North Koreans might be required to wear a biometric bracelet that monitors everything they do and say, as well as their blood pressure and brain activity. Using the growing understanding of the human brain and drawing on the immense powers of machine learning, the North Korean government might eventually be able to gauge what each and every citizen is thinking at each and every moment. But
that Elon Musk thing with Joe Rogan, that Neuralink thing.
Yeah.
That's basically like putting an implant in your head that allows you, like, because he said like the things that you miss when you're thinking, so you're constantly thinking, so you know basically everything.
yeah,
He was talking about that sort of implant, right? Because that's what I understand. Like, after like this, in parallel to this, like, would you guys be comfortable with like, if like a company, not a government company, something like Elon Musk's Neuralink comes to him and says, there's this implant that you won't have to go up and search anything, because once you think of it, it's already going to be searched.
I would love to have that, but it's dangerous because what if people develop some way to hack into it?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. Personally, I would say no.
Can you trust?
That'd be so scary.
Yeah, personally, I would say no if they asked me to do that. But if it becomes such a mainstream thing that my intelligence becomes far inferior than like the rest of the general population, I feel like I have no choice than to implement one inside of me.
I mean, I feel like there's a smart way to develop something to prevent hacking. So, like, what if you have like a two-part system where you have a thing connected to your brain, like the Neuralink, but then it also connects to like the main thing is like your eye. So you gotta get rid of an eye, but this way, it doesn't endanger the most important, like one of the most important organs in your body, which is the brain. So like the dangerous part is in the eye, not the brain.
But like, they could still hack it.
I mean, I guess maybe what if they make it explode?
I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Like,
my point is like, let's say what if it's in your eye, so like you've got this constant, like you can search immediately, you can see the browser, this and that. What if they infiltrate your personal data, what you're constantly thinking, because that Neuralink is also taking it into that into account. And then what you see in front of you is influenced by your data. So what if you're seeing like certain news articles, certain ads, this or that?
Fucking scary.
Like that kind of thing would fucking be crazy.
what if it becomes commercialized and start popping up advertisements?
You can
Right?
also,
Yeah,
it's like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like it. Like suddenly you're like sitting at home, then like you're like someone takes you over, you go out, and like you're like a robot, but like they exploit your head or something. I'm talking about like what if they influence you very slowly, because that's in your head. Like that's not like you take it out at night. That's like surgically, it's in there. I mean, it's a part of you now. And what if they slowly because they'll put ads everywhere, dude.
there's a lot of
They'll put
things.
ads in your
You're back
dreams
in the
if you
frame.
do it.
They put, that's just so crazy. Anything they want,
Yeah.
Like different frequencies
Yeah.
could affect you. Like I don't know, all
Yeah.
types of shit.
I think there's a
Satellites.
long way to that technology, dude. I think even like besides the technology, I think the morality, the ethics, and the usage laws themselves.
I think we
would
can
be
do it
quite
now.
wild.
I think we could be capable. Well, actually, I don't know. If
No,
we're
dude, I really
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know if we're completely capable of doing it, but we're close to doing something like that. I think. Like we could try to
But
develop
like,
something
I
like
don't
that.
think people are at the stage where they.
Oh
can
no,
use it.
no, and then also like no one's gonna do it because everyone knows it's not perfected. Like it's gonna be a long time before it becomes like something that's actually really
If the
good.
tech, I'm saying the technology might be perfect, 100% ready to go, but I don't think the humans are ready right now to deal with that sort of. People are freaking about like, oh, they're checking my Facebook, this, that's closing the screen, the president election's going there, this, that, voice recordings, like. I honestly don't think that people are ready for
How
something.
are we gonna transition to something like that?
I
Like
think
somewhere else on your body?
no. I think the chips like people will be gonna appreciate it more. Cause you know when people lose a limb and they get like a prosthetic, but the prosthetic never really works properly. Like if they lose their left arm, they'll get a prosthetic with just a hook on top of it.
Yeah, it's because they can't connect the nerves.
Yeah,
properly.
so imagine if like a surgeon's like, look, I'll help you I'll give you like a robotic left arm. You'll be able to move the fingers properly. You'll be able to like put on a shirt all by yourself without your parents helping you out. You'll be able to play video games again or do anything you want, just like beforehand.
Jack off.
Or like,
Yeah.
like they could try to Neuralink with someone that has got maybe like a huge memory loss thing or something, and that's like allowed them to do.
Yeah,
this
so they'll
sort of
find like people with illnesses or injuries or disabilities and get them to try it out. And once they talk about like go online or go to the press and say, oh, it changed my life, I feel normal again, then everyone else will be like, oh, well, if it helped them, it could definitely help me.
Especially if it's not like government regulated and like Neuralink, free private companies, and
It's like white Christmas.
Well, I feel a little bit more dangerous if it was a
Like
private
Christmas?
company. Because then I feel like they'd have more of an incentive to be commercialized and whatnot.
yeah, I mean, I think they would, but like it also depends on what company it is. Like if it's Neuralink, for example, I would be fine because I know that like Elon Musk's not the guy to sell out. But I mean,
But like this technology, like hypothetically, it's gonna be like way past Elon. It's gonna be like
probably,
three Elons from that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay, I lost the article. Shit, we were just about to get. Where'd it go?
Like people pay for this
Get
shit.
off
Yeah,
my
I
phone,
found
bro.
Like, like that Japanese billionaire that's going on the SpaceX thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like people pay for this stuff, dude.
Yeah.
I'd rather do the Neuralink thing than go to Mars.
Yeah, because Mars is gonna take like
Who says
decades
it's
to get back.
sustainable? Yeah, that's a different discussion. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to go to Mars.
I mean, I would.
It
You
takes-
wouldn't
it
want to
takes,
see.
like, 5
That
years
shit's
to get
scary
there.
though, bro. Yeah.
I feel like
I want
I'd rather-
man, I want security.
I want to do everything I want to do in my life first, and then go to Mars. Like that's the last thing I want to do.
Dude, honestly, don't get me
Oh,
wrong, but
fuck
if
it
someone would told me like you got a week to decide,
I'd say yeah.
I'd really consider it. Like seriously.
Oh, I mean, I would consider.
Like I mean, like even
People
if
are
I'm coming
fucking
back in
idiots,
20
man.
years or something, I don't know. But like, dude, that would be the greatest
Experience of a lifetime. Yeah.
But how
that
long
a
is it-
human possibly could ever live. Dude.
Have you seen Downsizing?
I heard that.
I heard
With
it.
Matt Damon?
I heard it was so, but because the director's really good. But yeah,
No,
There's
it's
another
actually-
Matt Damon sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
that was
That
the
guy's
Martian.
amazing 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
the
another
Martian.
one.
that movie was pretty
Martian was
interesting.
really.
Yeah, I want to
good.
see it.
It's like
I'm
It's
talking
about
this
minimalism.
movie.
it's the same idea of like having to save the Earth, but instead of like going to a different planet, they just
shrink people.
shrink themselves so that they don't fuck
Then
up
they
their Earth.
live, yeah. Then they live like lavishly shrink. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Did you want to wrap up something?
Oh no, I was just talking about like how going to Mars.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's only worth it if it only takes about a week to get there to and from. Otherwise, it's gonna take 5 years to get there, 5 years back.
But there's advantages. We're polluting the environment. People are idiots. It's a whole new experience.
I wouldn't mind being. Actually, I probably
In a
wouldn't mind.
spaceship for 5 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
You have to poop inside of a freaking astronaut
No,
suit.
that's scary. Like I don't know if I'm just not that adventurous to be honest.
Like, I don't even like going to Pakistan. Now I gotta go to Mars.
I mean,
I don't like going outside.
I'd
I
rather
think-
go to Mars than Pakistan.
Can you see the Earth from Mars?
I think, right?
I don't know, man. I have no.
No,
idea.
dude, you
not
can't
a-
even see the Mars from Earth. What are you talking about?
The Mars.
The Mars from Earth.
The Mars.
Okay.
No, I think you can. I think.
No, you
You
can't.
can see Saturn.
It'll look like a star.
Yeah, it'll look like a star. It's not
We
like
need
a-
to bring in Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Dude, I mean that'd be fucking sick. Like seeing a star and saying, "Holy shit!" that's where
That's pretty
the Earth
common,
is.
though.
So what if?
That's pretty common.
But like, what if?
With
they're
other
like,
planets.
you know, what if every other? Fucking insane. Dude.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that would be like a huge experience going to space.
Yeah.
I want them to make like portal technology, and then make one portal at Mars. The one
Right,
at
just like pop out.
Yeah.
Wait, can you already pay to go into space? How much is that?
it's like
I don't.
billion,
Yeah, they might.
No.
500 million.
No way.
You have to be a billionaire.
You
to-
probably have to pay something to fund all the gas and shit. But they're probably taking that.
It's
like,
not $1 billion.
You have to be a billionaire to be able.
Well,
to
maybe it's because you also have to fund like actually making the rocket.
Yeah. I mean, but like, yeah, like I remember this thing where like there was something that you could like you went through several tests, like hundreds of people, and then a couple of people could go to space for 15 minutes, and then they come down. But like that reminded me of like, you know that Red Bull thing, the guy jumps off from.
Oh, from like the end of the hemisphere and like.
Yeah.
kinda,
Oh,
like-
yeah.
That was really cool. That was really
Oh
dope.
my god, dude! Can you imagine what's going on in that guy's head?
I wonder how.
Free fall. That's what
Wait,
goes
wouldn't
through.
he die? No.
No.
Cause like.
I remember he lost control at one point in the air. Like there's this guy, this little astronaut man.
I do
just
remember that.
Fucking doing cycles all around. He lost total control and then he got back.
Did you find the article?
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
I was gonna ask you if you think the moon landing was real or not.
Okay, we're definitely.
No, I
let's
will-
bring in, you know, if North
All I'm
Korean.
gonna say is it all happened so quickly.
Are you serious? You don't believe in the moon landing?
I don't know, dude.
What's the point of them
Okay,
going to the moon?
okay.
and whatnot?
Let's move on to the next topic.
It's propaganda. What do you mean?
Okay, let's move. If
No, like if it's fake,
There's
if
a
it's fake,
serious war, like mental war between the Soviets and the US.
No, but what's the point of like wanting to go to the moon first?
it's
It's
just
like
a
it
piss
might take
contest.
bigger
It's a
than
piss
yours.
contest.
it's like
All
yeah,
the
we're
lives
scientific,
lost. Yeah, exactly,
we're up to
exactly,
date with
dude.
science and technology.
Every single thing pinpoints back to, hey, look, I'm better than you. I went to the moon first. I don't think there's any other explanation to that. If that space race is totally.
But honestly, all
accurate.
these like billions and trillions of dollars that go to NASA affects nothing. On
That's
Earth.
why they shut
Yeah.
it down. Didn't they? At one point.
All right, let's keep the creativity flowing. If a North Korean looked at a picture of Kim Jong-un and the biometric sensors picked up telltale signs of anger, high blood pressure, increased activity in the amygdala, that person could be in the gulag the next day.
That's insane.
The conflict between democracy and dictatorship is actually a conflict between two different data processing systems. AI may swing the advantage around the latter. Now, I want to... I want to move to this really interesting part.
Dude, that thing you said was pretty crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at a picture and then something like picking up your emotions and then you go in jail. That's basically.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the UN would allow that.
That's interesting. And then this is where the discussion gets really interesting. He goes, what will happen to his view of life as we rely on AI to make every more decision for us? Even now, we trust Netflix to recommend movies and Spotify to pick music we like. But why should AI's helpfulness stop there? Every year, millions of college students need to decide what to study. This is a very important and difficult decision, made under pressure from parents, friends, and professors. They're like, we love your podcast, who have varying interests and opinions. It has influenced by students' own individual fears and fantasies, which are themselves shaped by movies, novels, and advertising campaigns. Complicating matters, a given student does not really know what it takes to succeed in a given profession and doesn't necessarily have a realistic sense of his or own strengths and weaknesses. It's not so hard to see how AI could one day make better decisions than we do about careers and perhaps even about relationships. But once we begin to count on AI to decide what to study, where to work, and whom to date or even marry, human life will cease to be a drama
Exactly.
or of decision making, and our conceptions of life will need to change. Democratic elections and free markets might cease to make sense. So might most religions and works of art. Imagine, that's a stupid, irrelevant example. Or imagine your favorite Shakespeare play with all the crucial decisions made by a Google algorithm. So what do you guys think?
I don't want to rely on a fucking calculator to run my life. I mean,
We kind of do that today, though.
no, I don't. What the fuck?
Well, like it gives you I think the article's not saying if AI says something, you're forced to do it. And I think it's just talking about like giving suggestions.
But I'd rather take suggestions from a real person than an AI, than a computer. Because it's all like, it's like a calculation. It's not like a...
But if you think about it, all AI is just like a fancy algorithm written
Right.
by someone else. So you're technically taking...
I mean, technically, I guess you're right. It is like advice from somebody else. But still, I'm perfectly capable of making my own fucking decisions. I don't
What
need...
if that advice is manipulated, dude?
Yeah, exactly. I don't need somebody else to tell me what to do. Unless it's coming from a real human being.
I mean, I look at the point from like, you know, I think, and that's why I'm gonna come back to like saying that it won't make all jobs obsolete. AI. I think some, you know, jobs that require thought, experience, emotion. You know, like being able to say, you know, what if
like politicians.
You know, what if you got your brother working for you?
Yeah.
And like he's doing a shit job and you gotta fire him or something. You have to do that position amicably. You know. And I mean, you know, there are certain circumstances where I think, like, that sort of human thing is important. And so with this, like, I think instead of having, you know, AI saying, you know, you got these two options, but honestly this one, you know, is going to be the best, it's going to be the cause the least problems. I think, you know, making mistakes, understanding them, evaluating them, and then using that as experience in your life later is a very humane thing, and I think, you know, that's why maybe as suggestions, yeah, you know, where
Would you rather have a waiter that's a human being who can carry maybe a decent conversation every now and then as you're like ordering food or whatever, or a fucking robot that's dry?
Well, I know what you're
honestly,
talking
if they're
about.
gonna bring me my food perfectly.
Yeah, I don't like talking to waiters in general, but like.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, what if you're at a bar? What if you're sitting at the bar, you're having a drink?
Oh, obviously, okay, because I was gonna ask, yeah, then I want a human bartender.
You want a human bartender?
I was gonna say, like, for example, like in a school, would you guys want like a perfect AI teacher who taught you everything to the perfect T? Like, you know, didn't do any bullshit, no personal experiences, no stories, everything that you have to learn, that's it. You take notes and you're out. Or would you rather have a teacher that's like, but like sometimes some stories, someone you can talk to after class.
But the thing that makes that different and more, I think, something I would want more, having like a normal person like teaching my class, is that it's gonna be different every time. Like you don't know what's gonna happen really. But like a robot or like an AI,
but you know that
it's
you're
gonna be
get the
constant.
perfect level of
Yeah, but it's gonna be constant. It's gonna be boring.
Yeah.
I think with the
Exactly.
I think with AI taking jobs, there's gonna be a rise of people that are like, oh, like I'm gonna start my own company and it's gonna be people only. So if you guys want that human interaction, come to our company.
Oh,
You guys don't you guys do any of you guys have
like a
Discovery
race
cards?
war.
Discovery.
Robots against humans.
You have a Discovery card, right?
Yeah, I do.
You know that commercial that comes on where the guy calls like his credit card and Discovery card answers, and then the guy's like, oh, an actual person's answering the phone this time, not a robot.
Oh yeah.
And the guy's like, no, yeah, of course. And the guy's like, oh, that's why I like Discovery so much because I get a person-to-person interaction. And that's like the main selling point that.
But that's the thing right now. It's like people don't want AI right now. People aren't ready for that.
When?
A lot of people
When? I mean.
Yeah. It'll
Who
slowly
really
but
wants
surely.
When it
right
becomes
now,
more
dude.
common, like when it's integrated more into our daily lives. Like right now, we don't ever notice AI. There's not AI in video games, but to me, it doesn't feel like AI. There's AI.
Dude, there's AI in here, like probably like ads recommended on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just makes your life easier because then you don't have to really keep looking for things. If you're,
But it's also leading you a certain way, dude. That's the whole debate going on.
but
with
you
political.
set yourself up for that way.
But
If you want to look for something different, you still can. But you have to come up with it on your own. You don't have to take the suggestion.
yeah, but I mean, it's a pretty forced suggestion, I think, dude. Honestly, you keep on seeing.
It's like it's pointing a gun at you, telling you to fucking look at this thing.
But dude, like in the 2016 presidential thing, apparently it did. You know,
Yeah.
that's what everyone's blaming. You know, the fact that
Cambridge Analytica.
it was just like, you know, certain news, certain images, certain things appeared more on certain users. No one rigged with the machines. No one did anything. People just showed certain data besides other data.
So so let's see, like, I got a lot of J.B. Pritzker ads. Maybe
Yeah, me
Bancroft didn't because he's more of a conservative. I don't know, like what if his searches are more.
Well, that's more of like
That's
J.D.
more
Pritzker
fun.
paid more
J.D.
money.
Pritzker
Yeah, he did pay a
probably
lot
paid
of
the shit out
money.
that.
He fucking had ads in my dreams, dude.
Your what
like,
dreams?
but like, for example, like, look for like tennis shoes for like 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, and then that's gonna be popping up on every single search on your.
But that's
YouTube.
not really AI. That's like Internet cookies.
But I'm talking more about data, dude. Yeah, you're right.
Big
It's
data.
But
Who
like,
controls
I think the
big
data. My mind's stuck on the data thing because data is, I think, key.
No, the book's really interesting. This writer's just amazing. He has a history book called *Sapiens*. It's just the way he incorporates history with you know *Sapiens*.
Yeah.
Do you have that book for
Yeah.
class?
Oh no, you have it for
No,
fun.
not for fun.
Yeah, and *Homo Deus*. That one's
That's the
great.
second one.
Yeah,
I read that.
Yeah, this dude.
You fucking read that book?
Sapiens is pretty good.
This one's kind of
He's a
weighed
good
in the new one.
That's interesting.
Because like it was like a year after these books, he's like, I need to drop something fire, and then he just said some trite shit. But it's
He's
good.
dropping more fire than Kanye these days.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, he's
Is
really
it
interesting. I suggest
Good
everyone grab a copy of 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. He has a podcast with Sam Harris too, and a bunch of podcasts.
Sam Harris.
You're not a fan? I just blew $50, more like Scam Harris, just to see him. Really? Yeah.
Shit.
Just for fun.
Did you go see him?
No, it's in January.
Fuck that. $50.
And Scam Harris. You know.
Fell asleep.
Okay, let's discuss David Graeber's book, Bullshit Job. This will be quick. You know, we'll be brief. Because we're moving pretty quick. We're having a good time. You know, let's innovate. We'll stay here for another half hour.
It's like 9.
Half hour?
Yeah.
Last time we filmed this was
So, bullshit jobs are jobs which even the person doing the job can't really justify the existence of. But they have to pretend that there's some reason for it to exist.
Okay, give me an
That's the
example.
bullshit element. Here, let me finish the passages
I
then.
could get you an example.
I'll just finish the
Yeah.
passages.
Biryani.
That's a food, bro.
Snooker
Biryani
commentator.
making.
A what?
Snooker commentator.
What is that?
You know, the guys that commentate like snooker, billiards.
Yeah.
Come on.
A lot of people confuse.
I mean, would you rather watch?
I'd rather
Without
not
a
watch.
comment-
I'd rather watch another
commentary?
sport. I'd rather say ESPN. Say, yeah, we don't need to show snooker to the public. Let's just show
Yeah.
boxing. Okay, cool.
A lot of people confuse bullshit jobs and shit jobs, but they're not the same thing. Oh, that's a really good passage. People were really waking up and realizing that they wanted to do something useful, wanted to help others. They were realizing that something is wrong. That if you go into a profession like educational social services, they treat you poorly and pay you little. That's so interesting. I think most people really do want to believe that they're contributing to the world in some way. If you deny that to them, they go crazy and become quietly miserable.
So wait, if you deny that to them, so for example, you're telling me like, I want to change the world and I want to do this, and I'm like, dude,
Not
you're not
everyone's
gonna
like that.
change the
Yeah.
world. And then you get into
I mean,
this.
a lot of workers, low-paying job workers are just working to get money. Like they don't care what they're doing.
That is true. If we suddenly eliminated teachers or garbage collectors or construction workers or law enforcement or whatever, it would really matter. But if bullshit jobs go away, we're no worse off. So bullshit jobs are like corporate lawyers, HR departments. You know,
Well,
a
those
job
things always
that
come
if
in
you
handy
ask
once
someone
in a
what you do, they won't know. They'll admit, I don't do anything. My job is bullshit.
I mean, but I feel like HR does have a reason or
Oh,
purpose.
it's very.
But it comes in it comes in handy once in a while.
Like you worked at Sears and other corporations, you know that there are jobs that don't need
It's
to be.
maybe like something like where you could say if you take it out of the system, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Like they don't do anything. They just stay on
I mean, if
Facebook
you maybe
for 5,
if you
6,
take out
7
the
hours.
HR department for like one day,
Yeah,
the whole course maybe.
yeah. And then I'll let you guys discuss.
Well, what they can do for HR, you're right, is
Yeah.
like work them less, right?
Mm.
So they end up spending less money in that department, essentially. But you still need it because, like,
No,
HR.
I know. Yeah.
HR is like your, like, if you're playing chess, it's like your queen or like your king. Like, you need that piece, but you're not always gonna use it, okay? It's like, I don't know if that's a good example, actually.
It's more like a pawn, I think.
It's, I don't know if it's like, no, it's not a pawn, it's higher than the pawn.
I also
Anyways,
think it's more like the castle.
it's
You
kind of like,
rarely go like full stretch with the castle.
yeah, okay, it's like a castle. Because it comes in handy sometimes. And the reason that is because they kind of like overrule like everybody else when it comes to like neglect or like abuse or like
But like HR
harassment
is a
and
pretty
work.
specific, job.
Corporate lawyers, but there's a bunch of lawyers. I think about
I
30,
get what you mean,
40%
because
of
they're like corporate connected. So
yeah,
like,
30
they
or
all
40% of jobs at corporations are just names, and then they don't do anything. And like, look, there was an economist in the 1930s, John Maynard Keynes. He goes, "What you know when by our age, like the 21st century, that people will only work 16-hour weeks, will have time for leisure and all that, and we can make this happen through technology. But we view work as a moral obligation that everyone has to work for, even if the job is bullshit."
well,
So-
that's because you need money. It's capital.
You gotta pay the bills somehow.
Yeah, you can't just fucking not do anything unless you're blessed.
Yeah.
But I mean, to the point where, like, you know, like, is every job worth it? Is that kind of what he's saying? Like, in the sense that, you know, even if you're not changing the world, it might be the simplest thing, you know. But is that, you know, does that count as a useless job?
I think useless just means like we don't ever use
Bullshit.
it.
No, he calls it bullshit job.
Like you don't need somebody doing this. It's just. But isn't that a problem we're having now? Like
So,
the job market is like.
Yeah, there's like 3 arguments he's making. He says we can have a bullshit less job society, but we choose not to for reasons X. In the Soviet Union, our critique was communism doesn't work because 10 people had to come help you with meat, with like purchasing meat, because like everyone had to have a job. But here, what freedom is it to work jobs that are still crap here? Like, what's the freedom of these corporate jobs that don't make any sense, or just they even admit that we don't. Like, he asked a bunch of people. He goes, "We believe our jobs have no purpose."
I mean,
there are jobs that just have no purpose.
So, like, is he saying, as a human, should you be wasting your time on something that has no purpose?
He says we have to, but we need to restructure. Look, academics identify problems. They don't necessarily have to solve them, but he's identifying the problems. 30 to 40% of jobs are bullshit. His numbers.
I think what he wants is probably
the unemployment rate would go like out of the roof.
No, but you
So
can
he's
open
trying to
jobs
find
in other
alternatives.
sectors or in other departments.
Yeah.
That
you
are
could
probably
look at
lacking.
What do you
I
think?
mean,
Like nurses. You can get more nurses if you have
Are
less.
you trying to fucking her?
What the fuck?
But for example, eliminating corporate lawyers totally would mean
Not eliminating. We're
like
just
taking a huge dent into like the job of like lawyers. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, when you there are a lot of useless jobs, as there are probably like a lot of useless majors as well. You know?
Yeah, there's useless everything.
But like people get those useless jobs with those useless majors sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess a good useless job would be like an artist.
An
I don't
artist?
need that. Like a painter, or like a drawer, like.
I think.
Yeah, modern art's kind of shitty to be honest.
Right
the
now.
modern contemporary bullshit with like it's like a dot and the rest is white. It's a symbol of this.
But like that's not really a job. That's like some. I mean.
It's a hobby.
But they make money.
Yeah, because they
Not
sell
all
their
of them
paintings
do.
because millionaires.
Like only
buy it.
a certain subset of artists, the really 1% of competence probably make money, or some people are lucky and all that. So what do you think?
I think a lot of useless jobs still manage to be high paying. Like I could be a kindergarten teacher and help shape like young kids' minds and help them like get the early education they need to boost them up later in life and get paid like maybe only $20,000 a year. Or I could be a programmer for a multi-million-dollar company that provides like no benefit to the rest of society and be making like 6 figures. So I'd rather choose a useless job at that point.
It's a good point.
Well, that job is useless in the sense that like
You did?
we don't need whatever that media company is providing, but like now, like society kind of wants that. So technically, we do need it. Like if you got rid of all that shit, people would go crazy.
It's a good decision.
Exactly. I mean, people need jobs. You know. I mean,
People need time to fill their time.
yeah. I mean, not everyone's gonna
Socialize.
be a
I
nurse.
mean,
Everyone's gonna be a thing.
People go into retirement and then they come back out of retirement
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to retire.
because it's like it's so boring not having to do anything.
Well,
Like,
what do you mean by
with your life?
what do you mean by useless? Like they don't provide any benefit to the rest of society, or do they provide benefit?
They just
for
like
the
look.
company?
They'll go to work. They'll go on Facebook. They don't even know what their job specifications are.
I think
Principal
that's-
shit.
I was
that's-
at Target
I think
and I
that's
know
an
that.
internal thing, dude. I mean, you know, I think that's up to each company. Like,
Yeah.
I think not every company is in that way.
Like a
I mean,
diversity coordinator.
Well, I don't think there's anything.
I don't even know what that means. Exactly.
Like,
Prime
that's the image,
example.
dude. I mean, like, so like when if something bad goes wrong, you can say, hey, you know,
Yeah.
we have a diversity coordinator. So
And then they're like, well, what do
this
you
is
do?
totally
I
up to
don't
them,
know.
you know. We gave them the help.
That's a
They-
problem for
there's
our
some
diversity coordinator.
That's
Well, every company makes like these jobs with a specific goal in mind.
yeah.
So I guess at the end of the year, they have to think about like, is this goal worth it in the long run, or can we use this money and put it somewhere else?
Yeah.
Like when I used to work at Sears, I used to work as a personal shopper for the corporate section,
Which means
I would do telemarketing, be like, hey, since you're a Series like Prime
Oh, that's
member,
right.
instead of going to the grocery store and buying products for you or buying products by yourself, how about you call me and tell me what groceries you need, and then I'll mail them to your house.
this is like a voice, sexy voice. You tell
Wait.
me what you want.
Yeah.
and I'll
Wait,
bring
people,
it right to
they
your-
did that by phone?
Yeah,
That's so useless. Why don't you
it was useless, and now
Why don't you
Sears
just
is going
create a
bankrupt.
program on your computer that you can just order online, like Walmart?
Because they said people want the human-to-human interaction. I'm like, no, they don't.
No,
Because I call
that's-
100 people a day, and only maybe 80 of them say no, and only 20 of them say they'll think about it and never.
That is
contact.
just like
They're just old people. They don't know the new market.
People
They
don't
just
want-
need that.
Bahar was one of my clients because I was desperate for clients. So
I think
just had them
people
sign up.
rather not talk on the phone than talk on the phone.
I'd
Yeah.
rather not. I hate talking on the phone. Fuck
I
it.
used to be
I hate talking, period. But on the phone, no.
I used to be scared of ordering like pizzas and stuff. I'm so serious. Like
Yeah,
my-
Well,
me
that's
too,
just
me too.
convenient. You can pull up the Uber Eats or whatever. Like you could, like I go to Giordano's online order, press that shit. The pizza's ready. Let's
That's why
innovate,
companies
take
have
it,
like
leave.
online orders where you just type in the information.
Nando's needs that shit, bro.
or like yeah, like Chick-fil-A has that
Nando's
too.
needs to close down.
Chick-fil-A has online order.
If you have the app,
Yeah.
Well, you
Well, you have
guys
to
know the
pick it
reason
up,
for
right?
my overdose now.
yeah, you have to
Right?
go pick it up.
Okay.
Or you can order it and then if you're driving, you can just curbside pick up. So like, you can just wait. That's
Yeah.
it.
What if I just stand curbside and they bring it out?
I was
Yeah.
thinking, no,
We're
I
on the
was-
podcast, guys. We'll talk about this.
I was
later.
thinking about this.
I bet Mr. J's don't have the technology, right?
Mr. J's will bring it in this.
Dude,
room.
Mr. J's has the same 3 employees.
I love it.
Exactly.
It's
Family business.
They're so cool. They're really nice guys.
Dude, there's always an ambulance in front, so like if something happens.
Exactly. If your shit goes down, Mr. J's got your back.
Guys,
Yeah,
all three of our
ambulance
viewers
has
have
the
no idea
food.
what we're talking about.
You're right.
Yeah, true. But like, if the food's really that's there because the food's really bad, you get a heart attack. The ambulance will just take you out. Like
Food's
the
not
police.
bad.
know.
You haven't even had
Okay, let's
Right,
innovate.
right, let's go.
Wait, what's your beef with Sam Harris? He has some. Yeah, I don't disagree. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but he has some interesting discussion on.
I mean, I
UBI.
think he's a bit
He's a
pushy,
smart
dude.
guy.
He is very.
He
pushy.
talks a lot. I like my podcast / like talk show hosts to
Like Joe Rogan.
ask like a
Yeah.
strong question,
Mhm.
and then let the guests do all the talking. You know, like I hate Jimmy Fallon. That's why because he
Oh, I hate
talks
that
a
guy
lot.
so much.
But like I like old school guys, David
Wait.
Letterman, Conan, because they
Yeah,
ask a
Letterman.
question and like that immediately
Oh, you're talking.
opens up like.
Well,
a
that's
5
the
minutes.
point of an interview.
Yeah, but like nowadays I feel like talking.
But a
show
podcast
shows.
isn't exactly an interview. Podcast
I
in
know.
general is just a conversation.
But if you're having a guest on, which like for example Joe Rogan, I mean, you want them to speak for a bit. I mean, like they're on there, they're your guests. They're not going to be
But
there
that-
the next day.
I mean, that's like respectful, but I think that
No,
that's up to the person that's the guest. If they end up being a good guest, then they'll like talk a lot. Like people will like them more.
I think it's up to the host, dude. I like Joe.
I mean, I agree with you. Like it's half and half because the host can take up all the time or all the like speaking time, whatever, and be an asshole and not let the guest talk at all, or they can like kind of like work around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have any of you guys have any of you guys heard about the psychologist Jordan Peterson?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've heard of him?
I haven't read any of his stuff, but like.
Do you have thoughts on him?
I mean, I just know that he's a strong personality. And besides that, not much.
Side?
Yeah, I agree.
You don't know much outside of that?
Like, I just agree with what Amir said. Strong personality.
Eh.
Isn't this the guy you like a lot?
I don't like him. I have mixed feelings. He says some odd
This is the
stuff.
guy that debated with Sam Harris, right?
Yeah. So he started off. He got famous because there's this new law in Canada in 2016 that says you have to use pronouns,
I
transgender
remember.
pronouns.
And then he was like, what the fuck?
And then he's like, I'm not going to be obliged to say language. So, which I agree with, you shouldn't be obliged to say language. And after that, he had some good talks, did some good stuff, and he has the great stuff about the responsibility we're about to read right now. But he associates, say, with someone like Ben Shapiro, which, like, I don't hate Ben Shapiro and all, but I think his arguments are very biased. And when you're having an intelligent argument, you don't want to be partisan. You want to come to the truth. You can't come with assumptions already. You have to challenge yourself in that way. And he'll be like, he'll say things like, there's no patriarchy, which, yeah, in the West, the patriarchy is really little, but there's patriarchy all around, and there's things we need to address. And he doesn't address racism in ways that are he compares serfdom with racism in one interview with like slavery and serfdom, which those parallels are completely different. The civil rights and then identity politics, he complains on the left. But it's on the right, I think, more. But his argument is that the left, that identity politics on the left is ingrained in academia, like here in school. Everything's leftist, leftist, leftist. But academia isn't the only sphere. Like the right have the presidency. So this book's about responsibility, and I like some of it. I don't like he says masculinity is always good. Masculinity can be stupid. But see, here's a passage he says. We must each adapt as much responsibility as possible for individual life, society, and the world. We must each tell the truth and repair what is in despair and break down and recreate what is old and outdated. It is in this manner that we can and must reduce the suffering that poisons the world. It's asking a lot. It's asking for everything. Clear rules and proper discipline help the child, the family, and society establish, maintain, and expand the order that is all that protects us from chaos and the terrors of the underworld, where everything is uncertain and anxiety-provoking, hopeless, and depressing. There is no greater gift than a parent can bestow. The successful among us delay gratification. The successful among us bargain for the future. Standing up straight with your shoulders back is something that is not only physical, but you're not only a body. Your spirit is, so to speak, a psyche as well. Standing up physically also implies and invokes and demands standing up metaphysically. Standing up means voluntarily accepting the burden of being. Strengthening the individual, start with yourself, take care of yourself. Obviously tried shit from the 1950s, self-help books. Refine your personality. And something else he gets wrong is he thinks there's this Marxist, neo-Marxist conspiracy that's going to overthrow the government and that communism could become back to the form of some crazy blue-haired social justice warriors, wherever. I don't see the connection. Like, that's pretty unrealistic. Like, our values are ingrained. And Western values aren't always right. Like, some Western, of course, the Enlightenment has good stuff, but, like, there's some things we fucked up on and we need to acknowledge. And he doesn't do that as you wish we would. And the last thing was, he says, you know, the antidote to chaos is to clean up your room. Just clean up your room and get your life in order and then criticize the world, which isn't a bad idea. In the last passage here, people create their worlds with the tools they have directly at hand. Fault tools produce faulty results. Repeated use of the same faulty tools produce the same faulty results. What do you guys think of those passages? Miguel, start us off.
I like the cleaning your room thing.
How do you think that helps?
Well, our room, for example, right now is messy.
Yeah. If you clean it up, maybe you'll get more stuff done.
Yeah, and like being in there, all I want to do is sleep and do nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do.
I kind of agree. Like, if you start off your day cleaning your room, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a while to clean the room. So it's like if I could do this like giant task, then there's no reason I can't be productive for the rest of the day too.
Yeah, that's like a Navy.
Yeah, that's the Navy thing, like making your bed and stuff.
Yeah, like completing a task.
Right.
Having that, you know,
purpose.
Self-satisfaction is, you know, okay, I got this task out of the way. Next.
How many people need that though? Like, it's a helpful book. That's why I'm a fan. That I see around. People need that motivation. People don't go to class. People get hooked on drugs. People smell bad. People stay on the games and pornography all the time. I need to cut down on my porn, but it's not that bad. but yeah, like have some purpose. Stand up with your shoulders straight. And then, like, say the crazy leftist, oh, it's all patriarchy. What is it? What is the world? Yeah, you could fuck my bitch. It's all social construct, genders. It's like cool, but like, you know, stand up, take responsibility. And mental health is an important thing, but like, not everything can be connected with that. It can't be this excuse, you know. You know, there needs to be some. What do you guys think? You have nothing.
I mean, I agree with the fact, you know, like a lot of excuses are being created. People try to like use every excuse before attacking themselves. You know, like
identity,
right.
Oppressed, and
people
that's
don't
what
Peterson.
Exactly, that's what Peterson says. This whole identity, I'm oppressed thing is an excuse.
Yeah.
So this discussion isn't bringing.
Well, going off on the
we can move on to the next one. But
going off on the mental health thing, I feel like there's a lot of people nowadays that like
stylize it, like make it just to like feel part of the
yeah, like
community.
romanticize it, stylize it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh look at me, like I have
I'm
I have
edgy,
mental health
I'm
issues.
so edgy.
Even though they never-
Extentacion.
Or like people are like, I'm depressed, or like depression is like a serious kind
Yeah, they never go to the
Yeah,
hospital.
yeah. So I feel days.
It's
I feel sad some days. It doesn't mean I'm
It's
depressed.
hard to take people seriously now.
Yeah, when they say that, like anyone can
Yeah.
be.
Like,
And
oh, I
there's
have-
so many people
But
seeing a therapist.
It also affects the. What if someone like really depressed? Now, but like because now people have emotion. Oh, everyone's walking around.
It's
saying
like the
I'm
boy who
depressed
cried
now.
told
Like imagine if you actually had clinical depression,
Yeah.
and then you see someone that just goes on Twitter and says, I have depression, but they're living the best lives. Like, oh shoot, like I have
Fucking-
depression too.
yeah.
But I'm nowhere near as successful as they am.
What if you don't? What if you? What if you like? What if you're incapable of realizing? Like some mental illnesses. What if you think like people are walking around with depression? What if you're like, okay, like this is obviously maybe not depression that I'm feeling or something.
There's one person I know, and I met him recently, that has like clinical depression, like the type of depression like it's for no reason. Like this guy has a good life, but for some reason he's sad. all the time.
It's a lot of it's genetic.
Right. That he's got that shit,
You're just
and he's
born
got
with it.
medication.
Yeah.
And like if you met this guy, you would have no idea that he
Yeah,
has that.
he's lucky as that. That's really interesting. Like, anytime I feel, down in the dumps, whatever, I'm like, look how lucky we are in this time. I could have been born in during the Civil
dude.
War, in fucking
Even today, you could have been born somewhere else. Like, you could
Yeah.
have been born, I'm not even talking about like Syria or something. You could have been born in like a household in
Uganda,
China.
yeah, this, that,
Even
yeah.
China, you would have been living a totally different life.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but you have a different mindset.
We're in,
as well.
we're
Yeah,
like
I mean,
we're in
that's
one of
what
the best years of all
fair
time with the best resources, and I'm privileged enough. Like, just anytime I
Yeah,
feel
thank
down, just
fuck,
always
dude.
use that. Thank fuck. Things could be way worse. This is the argument of this book. Has anyone read Enlightenment Now by Steven Pinker?
No.
It's on my to-do list stuff.
Wait, so the book argues that we're living in the best time of human history. Like, you always get bad from the media, but we live in the best times of human history. He says, wealth has increased not just in the West, but around the globe, all while decreasing poverty and inequality. The United Nations bring humanism to a global scale, which has made our lives safer than ever. We still have problems such as AI, terrorism, and the environment, but we must face them with reason. Enlightenment has increased wealth while reducing poverty and inequality. Just 200 years ago, over 90% of the world's people lived in extreme poverty. Today, that share is less than 10%. That's because from 1820 to 1900, global income tripled. 50 years later, it had tripled again. This book will put you in a good mood. And the third time, by 1984, nowadays, even poorer or less developed nations like Rwanda or El Salvador double their income every 18 years. Richer countries do so every 35 years. A common argument against the benefits of global income growth is that only the rich get richer. That's nonsense. It's like Bancroft wrote that. As not just the decreased share of poverty shows, but also a scientific known as the Knud's curve, developed by Simon Knud's. I forget that.
What was
The-
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks to the United Nations, a humanist movement, life is safer on the globe than ever before. Today's world is of course not perfect. There are civil wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Sudan, and Syria still going on today. However, less than 100 years ago, war used to be the normal state the world was in. Just before World War II, over 60 million people lost their homes. More than, we could have been born 1940s or 1960s without World War II, Civil War, World War II, and the Civil Rights Movement. Like, thank God.
But I mean, we have. Okay, civil rights movement would be pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, imagine like.
But like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not.
That's reason.
It's not like we don't have problems now.
We have problems.
They're
But he's
not-
saying
they're
they're
not
on.
near
They're definitely not as bad.
Like, yeah, Syria is a conflict, but it's a domestic one where. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but like, it's not affecting us. Maybe
Even
too
then,
much.
there's still people in those times that were in bubbles where
Mm.
they didn't have to deal with anything.
And then last, this is a really good point. Today's critical issues like terrorism, AI, and the environment must be faced with reason, not conspiracy theories and pessimism. The reason most people are afraid, despite all the good news, is that media who report them don't favor positive stories. They obviously want clicks. You would never hear that 100,000 people have made it out of poverty, but a terror attack is an event they can cover. And an argument against covering terrorism and school shootings is that you don't want to give clout to the people.
Yeah.
They
You
don't
don't wanna-
deserve it.
Yeah, so then other people do it because they want their 5 minutes
They
of
want
fame.
the cloud, yeah.
The cloud. Speaking of which, terrorism is one of America's greatest fears, and yet they're more likely to be killed by a lightning strike or a sting of a bee. That's something Harari. He's like, more people die of obesity than any other thing or whatever. Globally, more people die of eating a lot than not eating enough. So that's really
Wait, is
cool.
that true?
You can crack your belly, like you by eating so much. You can crack. it
Yeah,
so much.
and like the people, like usually before it was like people didn't have food to eat, so they die. But now it's the reverse. Globally speaking, your chances of dying in a car crash are 125 times higher than terrorism. This isn't to say we can neglect these threats, blah blah blah. Lastly, people like Donald Trump love to use conspiracy theories to push the narrative, but climate change is a measurable fact. No to stop global warming. Okay, what do you guys think of my little summary there? Start here and then we'll... Is the world getting better? This, that.
I mean,
I think we are in like a good time of our lives, or our history.
yeah. I mean, I think so as well. Like, it's like there's like growth, exponential growth every single day.
Economically, socially.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, I think it's like too fast. You know, like it's like just stop and like chill out for a second. Enjoy it.
Chill.
I mean, like seriously, enjoy it. Like
Stop and
you
chill.
know, I mean, what's the point of like trying to develop so fast? What are we rushing for? You know, what's the end game? You know,
Yeah,
are
let's
people
be
expecting that thing? Okay, you know, we found like.
Right now, I feel
What's
like
the rush? You know, just
I get that because I honestly kind of like just want to live out my life the way it is now.
right.
Like I don't need like a bunch of new technology or like really advanced shit in my
Get
life.
in the
Yeah.
Like with what I have now, like I mean, I guess every new phone every now and then, like I could just stay like this and be very satisfied.
But with the news thing, yeah, I think like portraying news, especially today, with like so many people not actually reading newspapers, but people's attention spans being so much more or less than they were before. I think that's like really important. So I mean, yeah, that's like, yeah, I think that's changed a lot. Like how news is presented, and obviously from what side it's presented.
Well, I
That's
mean,
really important.
newspapers are pretty old fashioned.
Yeah, but like now, like usually when you're checking out social media, it's usually around like 80 to 100 word characters, maybe a bit more. I mean, you have to get like the sense of the news, the perfect idea right in that second, because you're constantly scrolling, so it has to be attention grabbing. So yeah, I don't know. It has anything to do with that. But.
Going off of what like Emery Miguel said about like why does technology need to advance so fast and like so often? I feel like technology brands they're always advancing like every year, like iPhones, because if they don't advance every year, then the competition's going to advance.
But I mean, it's like the advancements that they're making to me are like almost negligible in a sense. Like, okay, we're getting better camera quality, like better software.
Better shifts in conversation.
No, it's just like
That's the takeaway from all this. Like,
no, I'm just.
I
saying,
mean, the
like,
thing you said was pretty self-explanatory. Like, this is the best time to live.
no, but then the people are like, well, look at Brexit, look at Trump, look at Syria, look at
Well,
that.
these
very
these
small.
situations
But
are
these-
doomed to happen regardless.
Yeah, I
Look
mean,
look at it. Look at Hitler.
Populism.
Look
Could
at
we then?
Mussolini,
What
look at
and then
Yuval.
what? Yeah, what made us get to this progress? The UN, you think? What do you
I
guys?
think
I
fear,
think
dude.
the UN didn't do shit. So honestly,
No, I
I
did.
think it's just individual intelligence.
Individual intelligence, evolution, evolving of norms, and learning from our mistakes.
I think it's a
The
fear
Enlightenment,
of perfecting, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a fear of perfecting thoughts, perfecting, everything, making sure like
Get better, learn
get
new
better,
things,
learn
educational
everything,
institutions.
making everything quicker, more easy accessible.
Social movements, the Enlightenment, women's rights movements, the civil rights movements, independence movements, democracy movements.
I mean, even this like gender issue developments, I think, are happening very quickly, dude. I think a lot. I mean,
We need to chill.
yeah, I mean, like, people. I think people are expected of a lot, right? In like
these days, yeah.
yeah, it's a really quick shift, dude. People have to be really careful on what they're saying. It was not like this 5 years ago. I mean,
That's what
absolutely
I
not.
wish we could go
I'm
back.
not
5
even
years
talking
ago.
about like 15, 20 years. Like 5 years ago, like this. I mean, you could be so much more comfortable with what you were saying. Obviously, to a level.
Right, it's all this political correctness.
Yeah, but
thing.
even now, like even implications cause issues, and like people are expected
Yeah.
to go through this transition because this is a transition, dude. I mean, like people are starting to question like the one thing that's been there since the beginning of time, you know, gender, man and woman, you know, and like obviously that could go into debate because you know people they can identify themselves as anything they want. I can give a fuck about someone else, but like people I think are expected a lot in a phase in such a phase because I mean you know that's been a
Well, what is expected is understanding, but I don't know. Like, I can see why some people have a hard time accepting it.
I mean, like, but like in like social places, this and that, and I mean, like new like rules, regulations, you know, in bathrooms, like small details, even like I think. I don't know.
Yeah, like a few years ago, it was socially acceptable to say like Latinos or Latinas, but now you have to say Latinxes. I'm like, where did that term even come from?
Wait, what? I didn't even know
I'm
about
not
it.
saying that.
Have you heard of that?
No.
I
Oh,
just say Spanish.
If you're writing an article online, instead of saying like, oh, these Latinos were at a sporting event, or these Latinos were at a sporting event, you can't just assume their genders. So you have to say these Latinxes were at a sporting event.
Can you imagine all the time this has?
It just makes things more complicated and annoying.
And I was watching Joe Rogan made a podcast about it. I was reading the comments and someone's like, oh, as someone who's Latin American, like I've never met someone that uses this shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously,
It doesn't
right?
offend me.
I mean,
Like who's making these
what's the point? Yeah, I mean, who is coming up? Who's saying? You know, who's behind it? Who's
Jordan Peterson argues that it's some cultural Marxists. That's what the word. Rap music, this, that. They're all from the same like conspiracy, but I don't think that's.
Like if there's like a group, like a large group, like a majority of the Latin American population saying like, oh, use this new pronoun.
Oh yeah, like they're like on the streets rioting. We're done.
Yeah, but if it's some white girl on Twitter
Yeah.
drinking Starbucks,
I can't.
if it's like some white girl on Twitter drinking Starbucks saying like, actually we should use Latinxes.
Yeah, that's the case many of it. But what about the argument that political correctness is what got us where we are now? That people don't say certain things because they shouldn't, and it's good, and this dogmatism's good, and yeah, some people get hurt along
But
the way.
I feel like now it's getting too far. In some aspects.
I think people are too concerned about what other people might
Yeah.
think about them, say about them, what might happen, consequently. I mean, people are like, because they know that people might lose their shit. They might take something so wrong, dude. I mean, like, I don't know. I just have that feeling that like anything could be interpreted anyway right now in today's climate. Anyone could find any kind of excuse to interpret anything in a manipulative sort of way. That's what I think it's going into. Because it's going into this unknown, dude. Everything's getting scrambled up. I mean, you know, left, right, man, woman. Like, distinctive symbols and ideas are being transformed, which is cool, which is fine. But it's a change, I mean. You know, you're not talking about these things of like left, right, man, woman, cap, this or that. Now it's like everything's kind of, you know, people are changing, people are finding new things, people are, you know, like, and I think that's like, that really creates an unsecure environment for people to talk about. Because you don't know if it might be right today, it might be right, you know, 2 months ago, it might have been wrong. I mean, you don't know, dude. I think it's, yeah.
I have no idea. I didn't even have any idea about the Latinxes thing.
Me neither until 2 days ago, and then
That's
I read
bad
the
news,
entire
I can
Wikipedia
tell.
page about it. I was like, what the hell is this?
Unbelievable, yeah, there's always new creations in this. Where did you hear about Sapiens, the book?
Oh, it's my brother.
Your brother?
His brother reads a lot.
Okay, guys, we have simulation theory, sex at dawn, and sex recession. You guys
Let's
want to
skip
discuss
the
that next
simulation.
time? Or
Yeah, we can discuss that next time.
What do you
Simulation theory, yeah, sure.
you love simulation? No, do you want to do the sex recession?
No,
What does that
consider
mean?
this-
Actually, we can end on that. I think we can end on that.
Let's do a vote. Who wants to do sex recession?
Sex recession.
Yeah, recession and sex.
See, don't you want to
And
know
then
what it's
to
about?
robots.
Okay.
Into robots?
Alright.
Like
That's like a factor. That's
like
not
sex
it.
dolls.
We'll discuss.
Or that thing in Rick and Morty when he gets that robot from the alien planet.
Oh, I remember that. Didn't
That's like, I think.
Wait,
that's-
what?
Remember
that's
that-
gonna
remember
It's
take-
like
that,
the
like,
movie
full-
Her too. Have you seen that
Dude,
movie?
once they perfect the human, like the fake human body, like the perfect, you know, robot, they're immediately going to go to porn and, you know, sex industry. like immediately.
I mean, the sex doll.
You know,
business
maybe
is booming.
military. Maybe military, you know, some soldiers or some robot soldiers or some shit. Maybe some guns, something crazy, you know, AI guns where you literally don't do anything. It's like shooting on something, everything. And then they'll definitely go into the sex industry. Maybe even before the health industry will go.
Like our priorities are fucked up.
The thing with the whole like sex industry and whatnot, especially when robots get in the mix. Have you heard this whole thing about like if you watch too much porn, you're setting yourself up for erectile dysfunction?
Oh shit.
Because your body gets so desensitized. So when you actually start having sex, you're like, this is nothing like the porno.
I don't know, man. No, it's completely different.
No, like, yeah, no, and you go back. Well, my girl's not making the same sounds as Augustine. Yeah,
She's not. She won't let me lick her toe.
Then you find the right girl.
Okay, so this girl, Kate Julian, says, the phenomenon she's calling the sex recession really surprised me. She's done research on it a couple of years. The age of Tinder, digital porns, and attitudes that journey permissive, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, so this is basically about how there's less sex between people, right?
Yeah. One cause is obvious of the sex recession. Adults under 35 are less likely to be living with a partner than in decades, and more likely to be living with their parents, which it's safe to say isn't great for one's sex life. That's right. But I also find other explanations with profound implications. First, unsurprisingly, it has to do with internet incitements. Netflix and other online entertainments may be substituting sex. Even people in relationships told me that their digital life seemed to be vying with their sex life. We'd probably have a lot more sex, one woman noted, if we didn't get home and turn on the TV and start scrolling through our phones. This seems to defy logic. Our hunger for sex is supposed to be primal. Who would pick messing around online over actually messing around? Okay, let me just finish the forum. Since the 90s, the share of women who masturbated in a given week has doubled to 54%, and the men have masturbated to 54%, which that seems, I thought it was like 90%.
I thought you were going to say like 98 or 99.
Yeah, let's just assume that. I don't know where she's getting her numbers. And the share of women tripled to 29. What is another thing? People may be entering.
A couple of seconds, you know. She could have walked in on such a difficult sentence to explain.
That's like when we were watching Yuval también. So while we were going,
We would have an age.
yeah, she did.
But where's she coming?
To throw away trash.
Oh my god.
Alright, so the point basically is.
No, let's finish it.
I don't think we even need to. I think it's
No, a lot of it. No, there's other points that
Okay,
need to be in. Another factor: people may be entering their 20s with less romantic experience. Oh, that's stupid.
I can see that.
Then there are dating apps which can be insanely
That's what I was
inefficient
gonna talk about.
and demoralizing. It's like howling to the void for most guys, said one man I spoke with, and like searching for a diamond in the sea of dick pics for most girls. What are you laughing? Relatedly, the more people rely on swiping, the more awkward it can become to approach someone in public. Remember how Grindr supposedly killed the gay bar? Other people are retreating from sex that's unwanted, unpleasurable, or worse. The economist Marina, I don't know why she's researching this when she could be researching economics,
Right.
thinks this may be especially true for young women. Men have bad sex and good sex, but when sex is bad for women, it's really, really bad. And then this is a good part. Other experts talked about how depression and anxiety, poor self-image, self-deprivation, and distraction, throw on sexual breaks. There was a good part. Wait, was it 11? And because learning about sex from porn seems to have given some people troubling ideas about what a partner might like, think non-consensual choking. That's an example. It's possible that their partners are being scared off of sex.
That's just.
And then something anal being painful. Okay, we're done.
I have so many things to say.
Find a self-expert, each mama también.
The whole thing about like sex being turned off because people trying shit from porn, that's just people being stupid. I don't know if that's like a real
moderation. Yeah,
it's like
it's a whole industry.
I mean, I watched a bunch
It's
of.
convenient.
I've watched so much porn before I actually had sex. No, it's serious. Like everybody probably has seen so much porn before they actually had sex. Like they know about almost everything probably. Like choking, fucking spanking, whatever.
They know that it doesn't work like that in real life.
But like it's about how you are as a person. Like
You have
First-
to communicate.
Yeah, I communicate before I do
videos.
anything.
In the
Sure.
videos, it's like, yeah, they're down for whatever, but it's
Yeah.
not like
They
that.
communicated beforehand.
You have to understand that those are just videos. What's going
That's
on?
not
real
paid.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
they're
not
being
real
performers.
life.
paid, and they're being paid to do the extremes or whatever. You know, I mean, obviously it depends on
Right.
scene to scene, but like, you know, but some people really, I think, don't understand that what's going on there is totally against not against human nature, but like not real relationships at all. I think some people do misunderstand that too.
A lot of times, in porn, it's not even their real genitalia.
Huh.
Oh, like
they,
use
they
a-
wear prosthetics, or like the guy will wear a
Don't
prosthetic,
tell
and
me
then the
that.
girl will like.
No. Are you talking about like they use a fake dick?
Yeah.
And 90%
And sometimes,
of those orgasms
and sometimes
are fake,
not. Even for the female, it's not even real either.
Alright, let's.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But let's discuss.
No,
the
what I'm saying, like, why that causes people to have.
I
like,
think
Yeah,
I think a reason.
because like people see like if a girl's watching porn, and she sees like the guy with just like the guy porn star with this like massive dick, and she sees her boyfriend like, "Well, you're weak as hell. What the hell's wrong with you?"
Oh shit.
And then like the guy's watching porn.
It's
Hey,
like,
she's
girl,
like such a-
she's sucking, is she doing this? She
Yeah, and he's like, "Damn, this is how it works in real life." Or he sees like the fake porn, the
Yeah.
porn star's like fake genitalia,
expecting like three.
and she's like, "Damn, you're hella loose in here. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But the most important aspect of this, I think, is the future of sex robots. I think there's, like, have you guys seen the movie Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it actually.
It's a great movie. But like, there was also a documentary on BBC, and like it worked. Like it's easy, it's convenient, less sexual diseases. I'm giving you their argument. I'm not defending.
But I feel like people like it. The people that like
less
it more
heartbreak.
are
You
the,
can program it.
are the people that don't have normal sex.
No, but yeah, not even the sex aspect. A partner, like lonely people, or people that are sick of relationships or want certain characteristics. And then look, here's a good argument that I've read somewhere. It goes for creepy people that pedophiles, rapists, that want robots would
I was
help.
just about to say that, dude. I mean,
How much of the population are those people?
you know.
Well,
you know.
enough
you're making-
that they
you're
hurt
making
our
robots for
society.
specific-
Actually, rapists pretty high from what we
Oh,
see.
Jesus.
Right?
If you're making a sex robot for like a pedophile, then they're only going to be turned on by like child sex
Exactly,
robots.
that
That's
was
such an
like-
ethical issue.
Yeah, that's
It's an
another
ethical issue, but
issue.
like it helps so he doesn't go out in real life
Rape
and do
ones.
something crazy.
But then whoever orders that, they should just arrest them on spot.
But like they're mentally ill, dude. Like let them.
Well, it's not really a mental illness. You have to.
I mean,
You have to.
No, they're ill.
You're not gonna. Produce
They don't
them.
have free will.
They're not gonna produce.
We need to
them.
discuss the free will.
So you're saying that if they were mentally ill, then you're saying that they shouldn't go to prison?
I'm not saying they shouldn't go to prison.
But if you're
like,
mentally
there has
ill,
to be
then you
ethical
have
ways,
reason.
dude. Who has free will?
That's a whole other debate.
Yeah, that we're saving for
Save
next
that for
time.
episode
Yeah,
4.
it's-
Actually, let's just save that for next season.
I mean, I think sex.
The
I think,
audio.
like sex robots. I mean, they're definitely gonna be produced.
They've been-
I am
they've been
100% sure that they're gonna be like.
Mine's in
real-
the mail now.
They're gonna be so
Like,
close
on
to
our
real.
Bible.
It's
You
gonna be
order one?
crazy. But like, I think it really depends on the person. I mean, it's at this point, no regulation, nothing. It's just free will. You know,
If you're going to buy a
Sex
sex robot,
Sophia.
if you want to buy
I
it,
have
buy it. I mean,
Sophia.
it really comes down to your understanding of what sex is. You know,
Or your preferences.
what your your preferences, and like, if you've totally gone off the rail and think, oh, like you're not going to be able to enjoy normal sex, then I don't know.
What if like you have a dick deficiency or some girl has a disease or something? You know, and vibrators on Amazon apparently went up 90%. Like production, like it's like this huge thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
some-
girls aren't fucking and all. But you know, I heard this story. It's disgusting. A girl I know, she ordered a vibrator on Amazon, and apparently she got herpes
Oh,
from it
yeah,
because it was
you
used.
told me.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
told you that. What?
You told me that.
I told you this
Yeah.
story?
Wait, but
No way.
how can just the increase of like
And she gave her boyfriend herpes. He's like, "Who you been with?" He's like, "It's a
oh,
vibrator."
God. That's scary as hell. How come the increase of like the sales of vibrators signifies that people are having less sex?
Because women are using vibrators instead of dealing with heartbreak.
But you can't say
and
that.
shitty guys.
You-
That's what the study said. I don't know.
That's an assumption
But
because
90% is a big increase.
Yeah.
No, the girls are reporting this to the girl that were.
that's probably because like it's just convenient to have a fucking vibrator.
But that could mean also
It's
that
convenient
you know,
to
like
jack off.
girls aren't that men aren't out there trying to fuck. I mean, dude, there's so many distractions right now. I mean,
Yeah,
people get
like
distracted by so many things. I mean,
It's going off of that and going back to like the whole Netflix thing or like watching TV when you get home instead of just having sex. I've never had. Well, I mean, I'm younger, so I guess I'm not like it's not the same thing. Because I guess older couples might see this problem, like they're tired or something.
Yeah,
But like
married couples
my
especially.
sex drive is pretty high. Like
We're young. Yeah.
I have a problem watching Netflix instead of like having sex. You know what I mean?
Getting excited.
Like the plan is to watch Netflix, but I'm having sex instead.
Yeah.
I also think back in the day, like sex has become a lot more. Oh my god.
What?
And I thought Robbie was. Never mind.
Jesus.
Robbie?
Never mind.
Don't say anything.
Okay, so all I was gonna say was back in the day, sex was more about a needs for survival. Like we need to start a family just to have the next generation. Now there's like more emphasis on like let's just do it for fun.
Western countries, like the birth rate's going down.
yeah, I mean, birth rate's going I think it's going down also because a lot of women are starting to work a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened after like the World War II and
There's
stuff,
definitely a lot
especially.
more women that don't want to have kids.
Yeah, a lot more women just want to work, have good careers, good jobs, and like not deal with kids,
Oh, like the third world theocrats are like, no.
I mean, I don't really see that as a problem though.
It's not a problem. Of course, it's not.
It's just a trend, but.
And I want to further discuss Jordan Peterson quickly. We'll wrap up. He says the wage gap's a myth because women have different interests. Did you know the guy James Damore that wrote the memo for Google? He's like, these diversity seminars are stupid. Maybe women just don't want to be at Google because they have different interests. And then he got fired for it, and he got on Joe Rogan's podcast, etc. And then Peterson argues.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, he argues that women don't want high-paying jobs because they're really full of responsibility and they have to have kids. And say, why do women wear makeup at the workplace? Because they want to have sex. That's his argument.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
I mean, that's like. I don't want to sound sexist, but like. Women are the ones that have kids. Like it's not like.
Yeah, like that's a factual.
Yeah, like it's just like that's how I don't know. Like I'm
get
sorry.
diversity
I'm
coordinator.
sorry.
Open the door. They're like,
I'm sorry you have to bear children, but like that's just how it is. Like I don't know. That's
it
nature.
sucks, yeah. No, and he goes, why do women wear lipstick?
Well, that's just part of their like.
Why do they paint their toes? No, that's one.
Like women's makeup is just part of their clothing.
No, they wear okay, they could live without makeup.
But it's like.
I mean, they know they look good though.
Exactly.
That's
So
like
they
saying,
actually
like,
want to provoke some sexual
but
response.
that's like saying-
Don't want to look good when you go out as well. I mean,
That's actually about how you chose that sweater.
But why do you want to look good? Because you want to attract.
But you're not
Exactly, because I want to
but
attract
that's
other
normal
people.
human. I mean, that's
Exactly.
Like,
That's what we're
as
saying.
human as it can be. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But people are, yeah.
That's like saying like if you see a girl, like why'd she get a haircut to look nice? Like that's the same thing as wearing makeup. It's just part of their.
It's because they think they look better with it, so like whatever.
No. Yeah, we could get into that next.
No, I'm saying yeah.
This will be very interesting. We should bring on Miles and read Coleman Hughes' article, Black Contrarian. We should talk about polyamory with a bunch of other people. It's a good podcast today. It's probably the best episode, right? I think so.
I don't know how long.
Do you guys like this idea of reading passages?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Let's look at Sapiens and Homo Deus next time.
Alright.
Alright, cool. Alright, good night, guys. Good night, everyone.
Alright.
Anyway, how much time is it?
1 hour, 22 minutes.
Oh, it's the longest one yet. That one went by quick.